Well, hello everyone. This is Christy Vogelsberg. I am so happy to have all of you on with us here this evening at this edition of our Healthy Living and Freedom Revolution. And I just welcome to our guest, and for those that may be catching this afterwards, we are so glad that you're able to plug in with us. Now, for the first few minutes, we're going to talk a little bit about health. Oh, for just a second here. Okay, for the first few minutes, we're going to talk just a little bit about health and how we as a community are offering some solutions and changing lives through many of our initiatives. And then after that, we'll share with you about our wonderful company that is behind our tools and resources, and that's really helping inspire healthy living here around the world. So I have a special guest I am interviewing tonight. Her name is Christi Ledo, and she has been a friend of mine through school and on this health mission with us now for several years. We met at kindergarten roundup, and we have two boys now that are fourth graders. So Christy and I, along with literally thousands of others around the world, though, are part of this movement called our Healthy Living Revolution, where we are offering people really simple solutions to take their health back. We have websites, free cookbooks, educational webinars, home fitness series, children's programs, Juice Plus, and Shred 10, just to name a few. So there are just really incredible tools and resources that we have. But to begin with, though, I know my journey started with this community now almost 20 years ago. And as I was looking for something to really help with my own personal health, working as a physician assistant at the time, working in family practice, just sick a lot, having had a lot of issues with the immune system, and just really a very low quality of health. And what we found was, though, is that when we look at nutrition and look at fruits and vegetables, if we think about the size of our fist as a serving, we need to eat between 7 to 13 servings of fresh produce every day. And almost none of us can do that, and certainly not with the variety that we need to get in. And so for our family, Juice Plus was a tool that was in our office, our family practice office that I was working at, a way to bridge those gaps in our diet. So this is what I call my little basket of health. So I'll share this with you. I like to call this our Juice Plus, the 5 a day, the Juice Plus way. And so when we say Juice Plus, what we're typically referring to is our 30 fruits and vegetable blend. And it comes in really 3 different bottles, though. It's our fruit blend, our veggie Juice Plus, our berries and grapes there, and then finally our plant-based omega. So we like to call we say our quad. So this is our quad, where we eat 2 of each capsule per day, and we are getting in 30, 40 different plant foods, our micronutrition. Then we have also our macronutrition in the form of our Juice Plus shakes. And they come in chocolate or vanilla, and they are a whole food, high fiber, plant-based shake that we can put in a blender. We can add to muffins, pancakes, make peanut butter balls with it, or just shake it up as a quick on-the-go smoothie. So very versatile, high fiber, 8 grams of fiber, 13 grams of plant protein. So everything within our Juice Plus line is all whole food, plant-based, vegan, non-GMO, third-party tested, researched out the yin-yang, nearly 40 studies now that they've had over the past 25 years. And then finally, here about 7 years ago, we were partnered with the Tower Garden division, which is an aeroponic gardening system where you can grow outdoors in warmer climates or during the summer, or do indoors aeroponically with LED grow lights, which are just, again, truly amazing. So without further ado, though, I would like to go ahead and turn this over and ask and share just a few questions here. Christy, I will unmute you. That Christi Ledo, a great friend of mine, as I mentioned, friend from school. Our sons are fourth graders here together. And Christy, though, her background, so somewhat similar to me, a little different pathway, but I was a PA. She was a nurse practitioner. So she is a board-certified family nurse practitioner, but also has extensive training in neurology and epilepsy, previously working in inpatient outpatient hospital. Now she's doing more of a clinical setting with those. But so truly brilliant. One little known fact you may not know about Christi is her son, Carson, as a third grader last year, won the school spelling bee. So he is the youngest kiddo, third grade, to win our all-school spelling bee. So you can tell not only is she brilliant, but she is passing that on down to her children, and my Caden is just trying to keep up. So no, anyway, but I love Christi. I love her knowledge. I love how she thinks about health and sees that connection between nutrition and prevention. And so with that, Christi, I'd like to turn over and start by asking, how did you learn about Juice Plus, and then why did Juice Plus?
Are you still there? I just kind of lost you a little bit. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. There's just a little bit of a shuffle noise, but okay. I think you're good there. Yeah. So about Juice Plus.
So I was first exposed to Juice Plus probably 10 years ago. My one regret is that I didn't dig a little bit and listen. But when I finally listened and was exposed again the second time, I finally listened, and I heard the real truth about Juice Plus, and it made sense to me. Honestly, it did, and it was actually what I had been looking for. I didn't know it, but it is what I had been looking for nutritionally and as a business. So glad kindergarten roundup came along about 2014 or so, and our kids were going to kindergarten, and I met Christi, and she started loving on me and just started demonstrating to me the potential, both from a health perspective and from a business perspective. And so watching that for a little while started making sense. So
that's awesome. Well, tell us a little bit about, let's put the mom hat on for a second. What were some of the things? So beyond having a kindergartner at the time, you had also, how old was Caroline?
Yeah, I had so at the time I had a kindergartner, I had an almost 1-year-old, and working full time, busy, demanding job, and that I really loved. I really enjoyed it, but it was demanding. It was long hours. It was unpredictable. It was getting more and more corporate. And, when my first son was born 9 years ago, I immediately, when it was time to go back to work, I knew, this was just gut-wrenching and agonizing. Like, surely there's a better way to, have children and have a job and, create income for your family. So I immediately started looking, but everywhere I looked, it seemed impossible. And so, but with my kids came, sickness and ear infections, and with that came sick days, and with a job, that is not really easy to do when you're when you're in healthcare or anywhere really, but especially healthcare. You can't be bringing sickness there, and you can't call off. Our the hospital doesn't close, so it created big challenges. And that you would think that as a healthcare provider, I would know how to keep my kids from getting sick, but I couldn't figure it out. And so I needed a solution. I needed something big time that was safe and simple and easy. So
that's awesome. So tell us about, as you jumped into adding Juice Plus, then what are some of the benefits? What are some things you saw for yourself and for your family?
Well, we had really enjoyed really, really good health. I mean, honestly, my husband and I and my kids didn't have chronic health conditions, no big medical problems and so, if anybody asks us, we're healthy, we're really healthy. But I mean, every 3 to 6 weeks, somebody is getting over something and taking, every week without fail, somebody's taking something for something, some over-the-counter something, getting over something, sniffling something. It was just all the time. It was just a fact of our life. And I just thought that was just the way it was. It's just what happens. We were pretty healthy before we had kids. And as soon as we had kids, it was like we were sick all the time. And it seemed like somebody had something or was getting over something all the time. But I just didn't know that it could be different. And so along came, we gave Juice Plus a try, and it was presented to us as, maybe something that might help. And it was like, all right, I'm desperate for some relief. I'm desperate for a solution. This makes reasonable sense. I might as well give it a try. I felt confident it was going to be safe for sure. And so I tried it, and was kind of remarkable. I used to share stories with the other moms at work of whose kid's sick today and what are we dealing with today. And, I dropped them off at daycare. I hope they're going to be, don't get a call. And then pretty soon after, within just a matter of weeks after we got both kids started on Juice Plus, one of my coworkers said, "Hey, what's up with this? I haven't heard you talk about your kids being sick." And I'm like, "Well, because we haven't been." And she's like, "Oh, come on, what gives?" And she's like, "My kids have been sick 2 times since I heard you talk about your kids being sick." I'm like, well, the only thing we've done is maybe added fruits and vegetables,
Could it
like
be?
really simply. And I haven't even used a knife, and it's been really cool. And she's like, "Oh, come on now," and so that kind of started she started noticing more things, and she's like, "I've been noticing you had more color in your skin. What's up with that?" I'm like, well, it might be the same thing. I don't know. So
This is all we've done.
people started noticing. Cat was out of the bag.
Wow. And I remember when when you actually made that decision, like, I'm putting my order in, and I still remember we were sitting with a mom's group, and it was hearing the stories, I think too. It was hearing the stories.
Oh, definitely.
I believe at the time, were we doing kind of like the 30-day
Transform 30. Yeah, is what we were doing.
Yes.
Yep.
But did that, as a busy mom, because I know a lot of folks who may be watching this or will be jumping into our 10-day shred, just as a super busy mom, like looking at that program or looking at the guidelines of what we know now as the shred, how did you feel? How easy were those to incorporate in? Did it seem like a lot of extra work, or did it seem pretty simple and straightforward is why the program made sense?
Right. The simplicity of Juice Plus, and then the simplicity of definitely that program that was just, like I could have written it on my palm. It was that simple. It was not like a book I needed to read. It was just, hey, do this, do this, do this. Like get a shaker bottle and pour this, and then empty this packet, and then put the lid on, and then shake it up. And
Yeah.
do that 2 times a day. And then like throw in a healthy lunch and a little jar of salad and just shake it up and eat it, and then have a healthy dinner. I'm like, wow, that doesn't take it in a weekly meeting that I have to go to. It's not like, it's not some big, huge outlay of cash, and it just makes sense. And it's fruits and vegetables, really. So yes, the simplicity of it. And I don't think I mentioned this earlier, but this was another thing that I remembered feeling at the very beginning, was I felt for the first time after I had been eating that way for 2-3 weeks into that 30 days, it's like this feeling of being nourished. Like I had felt fed all my life. I've never had to, thankfully, go without meals for lack of having them, but I had never felt quite that nourished. And I imagined it like in my head, like pixels, when you see a picture of a lot of pixels and a bunch of the pixels are missing, like it's like all of a sudden all these pixels started filling in for us. For me particularly, I felt it, and then I started seeing it in my family
as well.
Just all these pixels started filling in. It's like, now I understand that was bridging the gap, between that little.
Yes, I love that.
Connecting dots. So
absolutely. And so tell me too, as a nurse practitioner, having that medical background, how important was the research? Because certainly people say research, we can, many of us like, okay, how do we even explain it, or do we even understand it? Like, how important was the research behind Juice Plus for you, or as a professional, even wanting to recommend it?
Yeah, like at the top of the list. Medically, the very first rule always is do no harm. But then very quickly after that is do good, try to help people. And so more and more, you have to have evidence for everything. We almost have to have evidence that, well, I won't go to where I was thinking of saying, but you just have to have evidence for everything. Literally, you just have to be able to have proof. Everything has to be tested, and we have to know that, there's evidence. Everything needs to be evidence-based. And so, it didn't take me really to evidence necessarily to know that fruits and vegetables are good for us. I mean, that's basic, but to know that how good for us they are, that was what, what people need to understand. And then to realize that Juice Plus is actually what it says it is. And, I mean, what's in those capsules is what we say it is what we believe that it is. It's what's actually in the fruits and vegetables, what's actually in the pomegranate and the apples. And, it's what's actually in there. And so the research bears that out, that what we say is in the capsules is actually in there because of the benefits that we see through all of the numerous research studies that we know are available.
That's wonderful. And I love too that we have all these incredible stories of health and hope for people, but yet we can back all of that up. And I can show you in the data why my immune system was improved, or why our circulation is better, or why you're going to have probably have a healthier pregnancy if a mama is taking Juice Plus. So it's really great, I know, as a health professional, to have that confidence and that assurance with it. So, well, very good. Well, I'm going to shift gears here for just a second before we wind down here tonight, and we want to talk a little, as far as our Freedom Revolution, about our company behind Juice Plus, and we call that our virtual franchise. So that is really the vehicle that Juice Plus and Tower Garden and our nutrition support tools and our Shed Pen, all of those definitely that the track will say that runs on. So when we look at our Juice Plus, our virtual franchise, we know the company behind Juice Plus. It's a 50-year-old company. Jay Martin was the founder and president, was a teacher that started the company. A great story if you ever get a chance to hear him. They were just here in Kansas City recently. Wonderful, amazing, visionary man, but huge heart. We believe of certainly making a difference in people's health, but we also of what we give back and how we really affect the planet, whether it's planting all omegas that help with sustainability, regarding no fish, or looking at Tower Gardens where we meet demands of water and space to truly feed people and feed people for the future. So let's take a peek though at our Juice Plus, our virtual franchise. So obviously you could have loved Juice Plus and ran into people and said, here, let me connect you to my friend Christi Vogelsberg. I know she'll do a great job of loving on you and taking care of you. So what though made that decision? What about our Juice Plus business made sense to you and helped with that decision to say, yeah, I want to actually partner with the company in a bigger way and start my own $50 turnkey international franchise. Tell us a little about that.
Well, very quickly, once I began to eat Juice Plus, I started participating with the community. And so it doesn't take long of being in this community before you realize, man, these are my peeps, okay? These are good-hearted, mission-driven people. And I mean, I am mission-driven. I mean, that's how I live my life. That's, it's how I've built my practice. There's a mission behind this. I'm not just there to collect a paycheck. There's a reason why we do this. And at the end of the day, you can rest in that and feel, there's fulfillment in that. And so anything I would align myself with or give a minute of my time to would have to fit in that, have to check those boxes. And so, the fact that it was the community hands down just sucked me in like a vacuum. And once you get in that, it's like I could spend the rest of my life with these people. And then you start to just see amazing people that are having amazing impact, that are amazingly grateful for this gift that they have found and been given in their business, and just the respect that they have for it, the way they treat it like a mission and treat it like a business. And that's just so impressive. I mean, and that's the kind of people I want to hang around and learn from and like rub off on, I want them to rub off on me. And so, the community first off, and then when I really looked at the business, I mean, good grief, it's a stable, lasting company. I mean, there's nothing else out there like it. Soon after I started having my kids, just the idea of owning my own business really just became very I'm gonna say appetizing, that's not the right word, attractive to me. I really wanted to do that, but just how to do it, just how to figure it, I mean, I want to develop a product and have to manufacture it and ship it and store it and, all of that. I mean, just that just seemed overwhelming. And so to find a company that of this caliber with a community of this caliber that already had figured all of that out and like had already done all the research and just turnkey opportunity that aligned with my, my own principles and my own goal and mission driven. And I mean, it just checked all the boxes. So that it was a no brainer. And then when I realized that, hey, my friends are noticing this and they're going to want it, they're going to get it from someone. Might as well be me. I can do it as well as anybody else can, even though I don't know first thing about owning my own business or running a business. I didn't have to. There were people to learn from, people who knew about it, and so much support. So
that's awesome. Yes, and it's a partnership, and that's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a virtual franchise. You get all the benefits of a franchise, back office, computer, marketing. I don't have to design brochures, all of that, and training.
No inventory to keep track of.
Right, don't have to deliver out of the
boxes
of the back of your minivan. Exactly. I love that. That is awesome. So Christi, as we wind down though, I would love to hear, though you've obviously touched on what are some of the personal benefits, some of the intangibles. What would you say though, or what role do you see that this business plays as your business will continue to grow? How will that parlay into what you're doing in your career or your future? How do you see the Juice Plus business going alongside what you're currently doing, or maybe giving you options for the future?
Well, most recently, I've been able to go part-time at my JOB, which is before I would not have had the confidence probably to do that. And just how am I going to fill in that gap in income? And so just knowing that I have this opportunity and now more time to devote to that, more white space in my calendar to devote to that, I would never have felt like I could create that white space if I didn't have people to build. So that has been huge for creating options for our family, and just the personal change and personal growth that it has, the building process has brought about, the community, and just what you have to chip away at yourself to be able to make this happen and to grow it. It forces you. I'll say forces, that's not a great kind word necessarily, but it really forces you to kind of get outside of yourself and learn how to just really love people and relate to them and stick your neck out for people and just really kind of just get over yourself with regard to, do you want to build this, or are you going to, let it slip through your hands? So anyway, that is just an incredible option for our family, and our future is different and bigger and brighter and better because of this option. And so
that's cool. Well, okay, last question. Inquiring minds want to know, what is your next step? So what are we going to see? What are we looking for? What are we going to cheer on for Miss Ledo? What's your next step?
What is my next step? Well, what I'm working on right now is just in the last few weeks, there have just been a number of people that have just really been put on my heart that I have not reached out to. And I don't know why I've not reached out to them, variety of reasons probably, but it's like, it's time to, put a check mark in that column. And so I've set a goal for myself of how many of those people, how many lives I want to at least touch in the next 30 days. So
I know I'm going to be seeing some conference calls scheduled on my calendar, and get a chance to love on some of these people with you.
Yeah,
So I'm looking forward to that. And I know she's
yeah,
got already our Taste of the Revolution and
yeah,
salad gatherings and Dr.
yeah.
Sears, Jim Sears in Kansas City. So
Yes,
lots of
I know. I'm so excited.
really fun things coming down
Super
the pipe.
excited.
So
Yes,
we'll
great
do
opportunities for
that.
exposing people to this community.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I love it. I love it. And so with that, guys, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to stop our recording here, but I will leave it open. So if anyone has any questions, though, for Christy, please unmute yourself. But otherwise, I just thank you. Thank you, Miss Ledo, my friend. And
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
time here. But I just really appreciate you making time and sharing your journey. And we're very excited to see what is that next phase, and love to have you on here more and as things continue to take off and grow. So
Thank you for sticking your neck out for me and my family.
yes, I know it was a shining the light process like it is for so many of us, especially as skeptical, analytical, scientific people. I have a
Yes,
heart,
yes.
a heart for heart for that.
Yeah.
So, but I thank you, and thank you to Team Abundance for being on tonight live, and definitely catching us here and the recording after. So we'll stop for now, but I'll leave it open so we can all say goodbye. And if you have any questions, we'll be on for a bit. Okay, thank you. Good night.